Hey y'all, Boogie Night here, how's it going? And if I look like I'm a little bit in pain, well, I kinda am. I'm at that stage in my sunburn where it's not quite at the itchy healing part yet, but it feels more like I dipped my head and my neck into flaming napalm. And like Dave from Civil Protection once said, if that stuff gets on you while it's burning, it's not coming off. So if you see the occasional squint or wince or the rubbing of the shoulders, I apologize in advance. So, to treat myself, I decided to settle on reviewing a cult classic movie as opposed to going to the theaters and watching one. And that's also because over the next few days of this week, I will be watching 2 to 3 movies at the theaters and giving you actually up-to-date reviews on them as opposed to just doing these DVDs or anything like that. I had to spoil myself somehow, guys, so I really wanted to go over the top with this one. So I watched Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2. Sequel to an old 80s classic, Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 1, but this one really didn't have too much to do other than just flashbacks. Now, I knew of the first Silent Night, Deadly Night, but I didn't know there was a sequel until a couple of years ago when I noticed a meme on YouTube going around called Garbage Day, which is probably the most famous scene in the Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2, if not the entire series, and I'm not doing it justice, so let's see if I can do it in the voice. It's a meme known as Garbage Day! Yeah, I can't do it justice. So go to YouTube, look it up, or better yet, buy or rent this movie and watch it for yourself, because it is one of the funniest 90 minutes 80s movies I've seen in a long time. It probably rivals Ninja Champion. That's another reason I wanted to do a cult film for this review, is because the last cult film that I think I did was when Greg and I did Disco Godfather, and that was probably one of the more bad cult movies I've seen, and that's saying a lot. That's not even Troll 2 bad. So, the plot for this is pretty much paper thin, so this review is probably shorter than most of them, but then again, it was also good. Hilarious, and for all the wrong reasons. So it starts out, basically, the premise focuses on 2 brothers, older brother Billy, younger brother Ricky. Long story short, the movie starts with Ricky in a mental institution being grilled by a local psychiatrist, wondering why he's done what he's done, which we'll find out throughout the course of the movie. So it starts out with Ricky talking to the psychiatrist in this asylum. I guess that's what it was, or he was a criminal psychologist in jail. It wasn't really explained. Talking about how his parents were killed by a murderer dressed up in a Santa costume. Ricky was only a baby, but Billy was the older one and witnessed everything, from the death of the father to the attempted rape and eventual murder of the mother. So both kids are taken to an orphanage run by what? Angry nuns! Hooray for promoting Catholic biases. Well done. I get it. In the 80s, everything's typecast. If you've seen Blues Brothers, you know the typecasting for these cynical Catholic angry nuns whacking you with their beads, their rulers, punishing them for being naughty, repent, Jesus is nigh, that sort of thing. And it was so stereotypical. I mean, but obviously, given the crap that Billy has witnessed and Ricky is learning secondhand, the nuns treat him horribly, to the point they're encouraging Billy to sit on Santa Claus's lap and do all this Santa stuff that's normal for Christmas, even though Billy was obviously scarred by the ordeal. So what happens? When he gets older, he has a psychotic break. Makes perfect sense. But the psychotic break isn't like your most, I snap and whatever, I completely lose my mind. No, he becomes what he despises, Santa Claus. He gets a job at a department store, dresses up in Santa, even though he's really threatening the little kids under his breath, like, you be quiet or I'll punish you or I'll kill you or blah, 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 blah. And, of course, the kids are freaking out, but the parents and the store owners, for some reason, think he's doing a marvelous job. But, long story short, something triggers Billy after a Christmas party, and he goes on a killing rampage. And this is when the hilarity of the killings ensue. Starting out basic, of just strangling a guy with Christmas lights, to killing people with an axe, to going over to a person's house and impaling the girlfriend on a pair of deer antlers. Now, of course, it's not showing the killings, really. It's just, you see him shoving towards the antlers. You see the girl screaming in fear, and then her eyes roll back and whatnot. It just gets more and more hilarious. I think one of the... God, I sound like a sociopath, but just the way it's done and portrayed is not meant to be gorn. It's not meant to be like Hellraiser, David Cronenberg, or John Carpenter, or Clive Barker, where those are supposed to be serious. This is done in such a way that you can't help to go, oh my god. Like, I kind of wish Mystery Science Theater 3000 would have done a riff on this, because it was kind of in that sense, like, it's so bad, it's awesome. So, another scene is these two bullies are bullying these two kids out of their sleds, and go sledding down a hill that has them sledded down. And, of course, Billy overhears this and decapitates one of them with his axe. So when the second one goes down the hill, all the first bully sees at the bottom hill is the head tumbling down. No body whatsoever. So, okay, so all this is being told in flashback by Ricky, so I guess somehow he learned of this, or found it. It's never explained, and he's telling this to his psychiatrist. And I also want to point out the fact that Ricky... I don't remember the actor's name who portrayed him, but he might as well have been played by Kiefer Sutherland from Stand By Me as Ace, because he had this whole tough guy, badass, slightly crazy-eyes thing going on. And he's trying to intimidate the psychiatrist, and Doc's like, nope, ain't working. Ain't gonna work on me. So, it's hilarious, but... Later on, it tells more about Ricky's backstory when he's still at the orphanage. He witnesses his brother get killed by the cops when he's trying to take him away and trying to kill the Mother Superior. And just hilarious, over-the-top shenanigans. That's the only way I can talk about it. So, God, I really am drawing a blank on this. That's just the effect this movie has, because if I keep going into the plot, I can't talk about it too much. So... I'm going to try and condense this as much as seemingly possible, but what you need to know is Ricky still has the same psycho glands that Billy has. Maybe just because of what he witnessed Billy do, and the Santa stereotypes and the need to punish the naughty kind of goes into it. But Billy, for the most part, has a relatively normal life, supposedly. There's one scene, and of course we're going to get back to where the killings get to be hilarious. He takes a long walk in the woods. He's trying to clear his mind. Makes perfect sense. This is when he gets older, after he's adopted by another family. So, I'm jumping around a lot. He's taking a walk in the woods and sees a couple having a picnic, and the guy starts trying to rape the girl. And she gets a knee to his junk. Hey, trust me, that'll deter anybody. And it's a smart move, so... But Ricky sees this happen, and the guy walks away to get a beer... has his back to the truck that they drove in. Ricky appears suddenly behind the wheel and runs him over many, many times. And the girl sees this. So it's literally, truck goes over, truck goes back, truck goes over, truck goes back, truck goes over. This goes on like 5 or 6 times. And he gets out, and she, of course, instead of freaking out, I think like any bystander would, she thanks him. I never want to move to that small town, that's for damn fact. So, he later on gets a girlfriend, things seem to be going along well, and then, surprise, surprise, the psycho genes kick in. His girlfriend's ex-boyfriend keeps trying to pressure her, and long story short, Ricky gets into a fight with him. And here we go. More fun. More deadly shenanigans. He knocks the guy out, or drags him into the car that the ex-boyfriend's working on. I think his name is Chip. Because, that sounds exactly like the word shit, I guess. Somehow, during the process, holds his hair back, plugs some jumper cables onto his teeth, and cranks up the high voltage so the guy's getting electrocuted by the jumper cables in his mouth like 2 walrus fangs. And instead of just standard electrocution, Ricky is watching it with this nice sociopathic grin on his face, like, yeah, it almost looks like he's getting off. Why not? I guess sociopaths have to have their jollies somehow. Frankly, I'll stick with booze. but the electrocution goes such to the part that his eyes explode and break the sunglasses that he's wearing in the most comedic way fashionable. Like cheap 80s, low budget, low graphics explosions. So of course Ricky's girlfriend sees that and she gets pissed off at him, says she hates him. And frankly, at this point I would have run away, but that's just me. So he rips off the antenna and strangles her like he's garroting her to death. And this whole point, a cop shows up who pretty much resembles Gomer Pyle, played by Clint Howard, not Ron Howard, his brother, who's even uglier. Not to mention with a huge James Van Der Beek forehead. And wants to arrest him. Somehow Ricky gets close enough to get the guy's gun, turn it, shoot him in the head. And at this point, I knew what was about to happen, and I honestly was like, going, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Because when you've seen the Garbage Day meme, you have about 2 seconds of music before the act actually happens. So he's walking down the street, music starts playing like, yes, 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 yes. Suddenly, there it is, Garbage Day! Bang! Shoots him. And I can't do it justice. I really can't, just because it's, you look at it and it's borderline like Troll 2's oh my god scene. You're just like, you don't want to, you just do. Maybe I've just got a really sick sense of humor, but the other funny scene was he just says, excuses a young girl who was pedaling her bike by him, sees a car coming at him, shoots the car's grill, steps to one side to where the car flips ass over tea kettle and crashes, but he sidesteps it like he's Neo from the Matrix. I think this is where the Wachowskis got their bullet time scenes from, just watching Ricky do this sidestep at the last possible second and doesn't even whip his hair. I was like, wow, they really spared no expense for this. Anyway, so he gets arrested, and at this point, his story ends. But during the point of this whole exposition, he kills the psychiatrist and escapes with one goal and one goal only: to dress up as Santa and finish what Billy started. That being said, he goes to the Mother Superior's house, which is, wait for it, 666. Yeah. There's your irony for you right there. Dresses up as Santa, goes to kill her. Now, during the course of this, Mother Superior, somewhere during the plot, had a stroke, but she can talk. She has full use of her hands and is pedaling a wheelchair. She can't stand, and half of her face looks like she injected crocodile into it. And I really wouldn't recommend you to go to Google Images and look up crocodile. With a K, no E at the end. You have been warned. Ugh. I made the mistake of looking at that the other day. Never do that again. Goes to kill her, succeeds in doing so. Long story short, cops show up. After he decapitates her, and during the course of this, puts her head back on her neck, sits her in the wheelchair so she's just sitting there at the table looking like she's already passed out. She dies, cops kill her, or cops kill him, and of course there's a jump scare at the end. End movie. Like I said, the movie was about 90 minutes long, roughly. And yes, I'm not doing it justice just by giving this plot in a nutshell, but what you need to know, the characters, except for Billy and Ricky, are believable. They're regular people, regular kids, working families, things like that. And yes, Billy and Ricky were pretty much doomed from the beginning since the Santa incident, and nobody made the effort to try and figure out what was haunting them. They just made it worse. But just seeing these psychotic breaks and the facial changes of Billy and Ricky, I mean, Ricky borderline does the Groucho Marx eyebrow wiggle when he's having a break. Like you can just see him go from Dr. Jekyll to Mr. Hyde. But it's so goofy. I expected it to be like something from a Scooby-Doo TV show, the old cartoons. Just like how you're like, wow. Like, part of me expected one part for him to go, zoinks! Or something like that. But instead, just the manager's, punish! Punish! In this completely like bass profundo format that also sounds like he was chewing on broken nails while he was doing it. All in all, This movie, I love it. I can't wait to watch the first one, which is supposed to be a little more serious than the second one, but talks about the backstory on Billy. And yes, I will do a review on that later on, but after this week, yeah, I'll give that a shot. But if you like a nice 80s cult black comedy slasher film with over-the-top shenanigans that was not intended to be a black comedy, or maybe it was, I don't know. If I saw it back when it came out in the early 80s, I might have thought differently, but now I'm thinking, yeah, that could not be taken seriously. I mean, the only thing that could have made it more interesting would put a young Sean Bean in it as the cop who gets shot in the head, because that would have just had the whole, like, that would have just made it complete. Or throw in like a song and dance or something, just bookend this. But if this is not your style, it makes perfect sense. Take it or leave it. It's a cult classic for a reason. But even if you don't want to think about this movie or think it's too stupid or lowbrow or highbrow, if dick and fart jokes are your thing, who cares? It's a good 90-minute waste of time if you just want to burn off some steam or some brain cells. But at the very least, to see what I'm talking about, the Garbage Day joke, just go to YouTube and look at Garbage Day. It's there. There's a million parodies for it. And Ricky, Billy, all the characters fit the roles perfectly, from hard-boiled cop to sociopath. So, that in mind, that was one of the best, $8 that I've spent in a long time. It was worth it. I'm going to keep watching this, but next few days you'll get some more serious reviews on live stuff. But until then, y'all have a wonderful night. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.